I was adjusting Richard Morrison's IV drip when his wife walked into the room carrying a bouquet of white roses. Perfect white roses. 12 of them. Exactly 12. The same number she'd brought every single day for the past 2 weeks. "Good morning, sweetheart," Jennifer Morrison said, her voice like honey. "I brought your favorites." Richard smiled weakly from his hospital bed. Stage 4, liver cancer. 3 weeks to live, maybe 4 if we were lucky. "You're so good to me, Jen," he whispered. I watched as she arranged the roses in the vase on his bedside table. Perfectly spaced, perfectly symmetrical. Everything about Jennifer Morrison was perfect. Her makeup, her designer handbag, her practiced smile, too perfect. "Nurse Sharon," she turned to me with that smile. "Could you give us a moment? I need to discuss some estate matters with my husband." Estate matters. He'd been diagnosed 2 weeks ago, and she was already talking about estate matters. I've been a nurse for 40 years, and I've learned that when someone's smile is that perfect, they're usually hiding something. If you've ever witnessed something in a hospital that didn't feel right, share your experience in the comments. And subscribe so you never miss what happens next in Richard's story. It all started 3 weeks earlier, November 3rd, 2019, Sunday evening, 7:23 p.m. I was working the oncology unit at St. Luke's Medical Center in Atlanta when they admitted Richard Morrison, 54 years old, stage 4 hepatocellular carcinoma with extensive metastasis, jaundice, ascites, hepatic encephalopathy beginning to show early signs. Given 3 to 4 weeks to live. He came up from the emergency room after collapsing at a restaurant. His wife Jennifer had called 911. She rode in the ambulance with him, she told me, held his hand the whole way. "We've been married for 26 years, Jennifer said as I settled Richard into his room. "He's my whole world." She said it with tears in her eyes, perfect tears that didn't smudge her mascara. Richard Morrison had been an accountant, worked at a mid-sized firm in Buckhead for 28 years. No children. Jennifer couldn't have them, she explained. Just the 2 of them. High school sweethearts, married young, built a life together. "We do everything together," Jennifer told me while I checked Richard's vitals. Blood pressure 94/62, heart rate 108, respirations shallow at 22. "We're each other's best friends. I don't know what I'll do without him." Richard reached for her hand. Even through the pain, even with the morphine clouding his eyes, he looked at his wife with complete adoration. "You've made my life perfect, Jen," he said softly. "Every single day with you has been perfect." Perfect. That word again. I made notes in his chart, started his pain management protocol, set up his fluid drips. Jennifer stayed the entire time, asking questions about his care, about his comfort, about what she could do to help. "I'll be here every day," she promised Richard. "Every single day until—" She didn't finish the sentence, didn't need to. "I'm going to make these last weeks perfect for you," she said instead. I left them alone, but something nagged at me, something I couldn't quite name. Over the next few days, I watched Jennifer Morrison establish a routine. Day 1, arrived at 9:12 a.m. sharp, stayed until 8:00 p.m., brought lunch, always chicken salad from the deli Richard liked, brought fresh roses, read to him from the newspaper, held his hand. Day 2, arrived at 9:00 a.m. sharp, stayed until 8:00 p.m., same lunch, same roses, same gentle attention. Day 3, arrived at 9:00 a.m. sharp, everything identical to the previous days. By day 5, I noticed something. Jennifer Morrison never cried. I mean, she teared up, perfect tears at perfect moments. But I never saw her actually break down, never saw her shoulders shake with sobs in the hallway, never saw her composure slip. In 40 years, I've seen hundreds of spouses facing loss. They cry in the cafeteria, they cry in the chapel, they cry in the parking lot. They break down when they think no one's watching. Jennifer Morrison never broke down, but that wasn't what bothered me most. What bothered me was the phone. On day 6, I was adjusting Richard's morphine drip when Jennifer's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, and for just a fraction of a second, I saw something cross her face. Not sadness, not worry, annoyance. She silenced the phone without looking at it. It buzzed again 5 minutes later. Again, that flicker of annoyance. "Do you need to take that?" Richard asked weakly. "No, sweetheart. Nothing's more important than being here with you." But her jaw was tight. That evening, after Jennifer left, I was checking Richard's vitals when he said something that stayed with me. "I'm a lucky man, Nurse Sharon. 26 years, and Jennifer still looks at me like we're newlyweds. Some marriages fall apart, but ours? Perfect." There was that word again. "Tell me about how you met," I said while noting his blood pressure, dropping steadily at 88/58. His eyes lit up despite the pain. "High school, junior year. I saw her in the cafeteria, and I just knew. Asked her to homecoming. She said yes. We've been together ever since." "No rough patches? 26 years is a long time." "Oh, sure, we had our moments, but we always worked through them. That's what marriage is, right? Working through things together. She's been my rock. Especially these last few years when work got stressful. She never complained. Never asked for more than I could give." Something in the way he said that last part made me pause. "What do you mean, more than you could give?" He coughed, a wet, rattling sound. "Oh, you know. I'm just an accountant. We live comfortably, but we're not rich. Jennifer came from money. Her family had expectations, but she chose me anyway. Gave up a trust fund and everything." "She gave up a trust fund?" "Her father said if she married me, he'd cut her off. I wasn't good enough in his eyes, but she married me anyway, said love mattered more than money." I made a note in his chart, but my mind was racing. "That must have been hard for her," I said carefully. "I've always felt guilty about it. Always tried to make it up to her. Give her the life she deserved." He closed his eyes. "At least she'll be taken care of after I'm gone. Life insurance. The house is paid off. She won't have to worry. Life insurance." I finished my notes and left the room, but that conversation stayed with me. The next morning, day 7, Jennifer arrived at 9 a.m. with 12 white roses, but this time there was someone with her. A man, early 30s, expensive suit. He stayed in the hallway, but I saw them talking in low voices before Jennifer came into Richard's room. "Who was that?" I asked casually while checking Richard's IV. Jennifer's smile didn't waver. "Oh, that's Marcus. He's helping me with some financial planning. With Richard's condition, I need to make sure everything's in order." Financial planning. Richard had been diagnosed less than 2 weeks ago. "That's very efficient of you," I said, watching her face. "I'm a planner," she said smoothly. "Richard always said I was too organized for my own good. But at a time like this, someone needs to handle the practical matters." She turned to Richard with that perfect smile. "Sweetheart, Marcus brought some papers for you to sign. Nothing urgent, just updating some beneficiary information. We can do it later if you're tired." "Now's fine," Richard said weakly. "Whatever you need, Jen." I left the room, but something didn't add up. Something about the way Jennifer had looked at Marcus in that hallway. The way her smile had been different when she thought no one was watching. And then, on day 8, something happened that made everything more confusing. I was at the nurse's station when a woman walked up. Mid-50s, nervous energy. She kept glancing toward Richard's room. "Can I help you?" I asked. "I'm looking for Richard Morrison's room. I'm an old friend from work." "Room 412, but his wife is with him right now. You might want to—" "I know," she said quickly. "I'll wait." She sat in the waiting area, fidgeting with her purse. 30 minutes later, when Jennifer left for lunch, always at noon, always for exactly 1 hour, the woman practically jumped up. "Is she gone?" "Mrs. Morrison just left," I confirmed. The woman hurried to Richard's room. I followed at a discreet distance, professional curiosity getting the better of me. Through the partially open door, I heard her voice, urgent, worried. "Richard, it's Carol, from accounting. I had to come. I had to warn you." "Carol?" Richard's voice was confused. What are you doing here? Listen to me. It's about Jennifer, about your life insurance policy. My heart started pounding. What about it? Richard asked. She came to the office 3 months ago. She wanted to know the exact payout amount. She asked me how long it would take to process a claim after. Carol's voice broke. Richard, you weren't even sick yet. The room went silent. That doesn't make sense, Richard finally said. 3 months ago, I was fine. I know. That's why I'm here. And Richard, there's something else. She asked me not to tell you she'd been there. She said it was supposed to be a surprise, that she was planning for your future together. Carol, I don't understand what you're suggesting. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just telling you what happened. And then you got sick, and I couldn't stop thinking about it, about the timing. I probably shouldn't even be here. I probably shouldn't say anything, but what? But I've known you for 15 years, Richard, and I care about you, and something about all of this doesn't feel right to me. I heard Richard's heart monitor beep faster. Carol, you need to leave. Jennifer will be back soon, and if she sees you... I know, I'm sorry, I had to tell you. I had to make sure you knew. Carol left quickly, nearly running past me. She wouldn't meet my eyes. I gave Richard a few minutes, then went in to check his vitals. His blood pressure was elevated, heart rate at 124. He was staring at the ceiling. Everything okay, Mr. Morrison? I asked, gently. Sharon, he said after a long moment. Can I ask you something? Of course. In your experience, when someone is dying, do people sometimes act strange? Do they imagine things? What kind of things? Suspicions about people they love, wondering if maybe they didn't know them as well as they thought. I sat down in the chair beside his bed. I've been a nurse for 40 years, I said carefully, and I've learned that illness doesn't make us paranoid. It makes us see clearly. When we're facing death, the pretenses fall away. We start noticing things we didn't let ourselves notice before. He was quiet for a long time. My wife loves me, he finally said, but it sounded like he was trying to convince himself. I'm sure she does, I said, but I wasn't sure. Not anymore. That afternoon, Jennifer returned at exactly 1 p.m. She brought Richard his favorite dessert, apple pie from the bakery on Peachtree. How was your morning, sweetheart? She asked. Fine, Richard said. But his voice was different, distant. Jennifer noticed. Are you feeling worse? Should I call the doctor? No, just tired. She kissed his forehead. You rest. I'll just sit here and read. She pulled out a book, some best-selling novel, and settled into the chair, the picture of a devoted wife. But I noticed she kept checking her phone, and I noticed that when Richard closed his eyes, her expression changed. The gentle concern disappeared. What replaced it was something else. Something cold. Something calculating. Over the next 3 days, I started paying closer attention. Day 9, Jennifer arrived at 9 a.m., left at noon for exactly 1 hour, returned until 8 p.m., made 3 phone calls outside Richard's room. Each time her voice was different, sharper, more businesslike. Day 10, same routine. But this time, Marcus came back. They talked in the hallway for 20 minutes. I pretended to review charts nearby and caught fragments of their conversation. The policy pays out within 30 days. You need him to sign the amended... Trust me, it's all going according to... Day 11. Richard's condition was deteriorating. His liver was failing faster than expected. He was sleeping more, confused when he woke up, and Jennifer seemed relieved. I know that sounds terrible, but I saw it. When Dr. Patterson told her Richard had maybe 2 weeks left instead of 4, Jennifer's shoulders relaxed. Thank you, doctor, she said softly. At least he won't suffer long. But her eyes were bright. That evening, after Jennifer left, I was checking Richard's morphine when he suddenly grabbed my hand. Sharon, he whispered. His skin was yellow with jaundice. His eyes were cloudy. I need to tell you something. What is it? I've been thinking about what Carol said, about Jennifer asking about the life insurance, and I remembered something. What? 6 months ago, maybe 7, Jennifer started cooking differently. She took this interest in making me healthy meals, said she wanted me to live forever, made these special smoothies every morning, said they were full of vitamins. My blood went cold. And then, Richard continued, his voice getting weaker, I started feeling sick, just a little at first. Nausea, fatigue. I thought it was stress from work. But it got worse and worse. And then you were diagnosed with liver cancer. Sharon, I need you to be honest with me. Is it possible? Could my wife have? He couldn't finish the question. I sat down heavily in the chair. Richard, that's a very serious accusation. Do you have any evidence? Any proof? No proof. Just a feeling. Just this terrible feeling that's been growing since Carol came. Since I started really thinking about the timeline. About how Jennifer changed. About how eager she is to have me sign all these papers. What papers? Updated beneficiary forms. A new will. She says it's just to make things easier, to make sure everything goes smoothly. But Sharon, why would she be so focused on that? Why not just focus on our time together? I didn't have an answer. Maybe I'm crazy, Richard said, his eyes filling with tears. Maybe the cancer has spread to my brain and I'm imagining things. Maybe I'm just a dying man who's paranoid. But Sharon, I loved her. I loved her for 26 years. I gave her everything I had. And now I'm lying here wondering if she's been waiting for me to die. A tear rolled down his face. A real tear, not like Jennifer's perfect ones. What do you want me to do? I asked quietly. I don't know. I don't know if there's anything anyone can do. But Sharon, will you watch? Will you just watch her? Tell me if you see something. Tell me if I'm crazy or if I'm right to be scared. Scared? Yeah, he whispered. Scared. Because if I'm right, if she really did something to me, then I'm lying here, dying from something she gave me. And there's nothing I can do about it. It's too late. The cancer's everywhere. Even if I'm right, even if I could prove it, I'm already dead. I'm a dead man talking. The monitors beeped softly in the silence that followed. I'll watch, I promised. I'll pay attention. Thank you. He closed his eyes. And Sharon? Don't tell Jennifer we talked about this. Don't tell her anything. If I'm right, if she really did this, I don't want her to know I suspect. I don't want to spend my last days fighting. I'm too tired. I just want to know the truth. I thought I understood what was happening. I thought I'd figured it out. But then, on day 12, someone else showed up, and I realized I didn't know anything at all. It was a Wednesday afternoon, November 15th, 2019. 3:47 p.m. Jennifer had just left for her daily 1-hour lunch break. She was like clockwork, noon to 1:30 p.m. every single day. I was checking Richard's IV. His veins were getting harder to access, the cancer ravaging his body from the inside out, when I heard voices in the hallway. A woman's voice, young, distressed. Please, I need to see him. I need to see Richard Morrison. I'm sorry, but visiting hours are restricted to immediate family, the floor receptionist said. I am family. I stepped out of the room. The woman was in her mid-20s, dark hair pulled back in a ponytail, red, swollen eyes. She was clutching a small photo album to her chest, like a lifeline. Can I help you? I asked. She turned to me, desperate. Are you Richard Morrison's nurse? I am. Please, I need to see him. My name is Emma Morrison. Morrison. I'm his daughter, she said. The hallway seemed to tilt. His daughter? I repeated slowly. Yes, his daughter. I know what you're thinking. His wife is here every day saying they don't have children. But that's a lie. I'm his daughter. I'm 26 years old, and I need to see my father before he dies. The receptionist looked at me, bewildered. Come with me, I said quietly. I led Emma to a small consultation room. She sat down, still clutching that photo album. Tell me everything, I said. Start from the beginning. Emma took a shaky breath. My parents, my real parents, got married when they were young. Too young. My mom was 18, my dad was 19. I was born a year later. They tried to make it work, but they were kids raising a kid. They fought constantly, about money, about the future, about everything. She opened the photo album, showed me pictures of a young Richard Morrison, almost unrecognizable, 30 years younger, holding a baby. The joy in his face was unmistakable. They divorced when I was 4. My mom got custody. My dad got visitation. He paid child support every month. Never missed a payment. He'd come see me every other weekend. He tried, you know. He really tried to be a good father. What happened? When I was 7, he met Jennifer. They started dating, and at first, it was okay. She was nice to me, brought me presents. But then they got engaged, and everything changed. Emma's hands were shaking as she turned the pages of the album. Jennifer didn't want children. She made that very clear, and she didn't want my dad to have ties to his past. She wanted him all to herself. She gave him an ultimatum, me or her. And he chose her. He chose her. Emma's voice broke. The visits became less frequent. Then they stopped altogether. He missed my 8th birthday, my 9th. By the time I was 10, I didn't see him anymore. Jennifer told him he needed to focus on their marriage, their future, that I was a reminder of his failure, that he needed to move on. But he kept paying child support? Yeah, the court made him, but nothing else. No calls, no visits, no birthday cards, nothing. It was like I didn't exist. I sat back in my chair, processing this. So why are you here now? Because my mom died. 6 months ago. Cancer, actually. Breast cancer. And when she was dying, she made me promise something. She made me promise that I'd try to reconnect with my dad, that I'd forgive him. She said he was a good man who'd made bad choices, that Jennifer had manipulated him, that I needed to give him a chance. Did you try? I tried. I called him. I sent letters. I showed up at his house. But Jennifer always intercepted. She told me I wasn't welcome, that I was disturbing their peace, that my dad didn't want to see me, that he'd moved on, and I needed to respect that. Emma wiped her eyes. And then, last month, I saw his obituary. Except it wasn't an obituary. It was a GoFundMe. Jennifer had started a GoFundMe for his unexpected medical expenses. That's how I found out he was dying, from a stranger's Facebook post. You didn't know he was sick? How would I know? He hasn't spoken to me in 19 years. But when I saw it, when I realized he was dying, I knew I had to come. I had to try one more time. I had to tell him. Her voice broke completely. I had to tell him I forgive him, that I understand, that I don't want him to die thinking I hate him. I stood up. Come with me. But Jennifer is at lunch. We have 45 minutes. I led Emma to Richard's room. He was sleeping, his breathing labored. The jaundice had turned his skin a deep yellow. He looked 20 years older than the man in Emma's photos. Dad? Emma whispered. Richard's eyes fluttered open, confused at first. Then they focused on Emma's face, and I watched recognition dawn slowly. Emma? His voice was barely audible. Emma, is that really you? It's me, Dad. It's really me. You came. You came. Of course I came. Emma moved to his bedside, tears streaming down her face. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't come sooner. Jennifer told me you didn't want to see me, but I should have tried harder. I should have. No. Richard reached for her hand with his IV-tangled fingers. No, sweetheart. This isn't your fault. None of this is your fault. I'm the one who should apologize. I abandoned you. I chose Jennifer over you. I let her convince me that I needed to move on, that you were better off without me. I was weak. I was a coward. Dad, I need to say this. I need you to hear this. Abandoning you was the worst thing I ever did. Every day, every single day for 19 years, I thought about you. Wondered how you were, what you looked like, if you were happy, if you were okay. But I told myself you were better off, that you didn't need a father who'd chosen someone else. I needed you, Emma sobbed. I needed my dad. I know, baby. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. They held hands, both of them crying. I stood by the door, giving them space, but staying close enough to monitor Richard's vitals. His heart rate was elevated, but for the first time since I'd met him, he looked peaceful. Tell me about your life, Richard said. Tell me everything. I want to know everything. Emma pulled herself together and started talking. About graduating high school, about going to community college, about becoming a teacher, about her life, her friends, her dreams. Richard listened with an intensity that broke my heart, drinking in every word, trying to make up for 19 years in 45 minutes. But time was running out. Emma, I said gently, it's 12:50. Jennifer will be back in 10 minutes. Emma's face went pale. I can't let her see me. If she knows I'm here, go, Richard said urgently. Go now, but Emma, listen to me. I need you to do something. Anything. In my office at home, there's a filing cabinet, bottom drawer, left side. There's a folder labeled Insurance. Inside that folder, there's an envelope. It has your name on it. Emma Morrison. Take it. Dad, what? Just promise me. Promise me you'll get that envelope. It's important. It's for you. It was always for you. I promise. But Dad, when can I see you again? Richard looked at me. I looked at his monitors. His numbers were declining steadily. Soon, sweetheart, Richard said, his voice weak. Come back tomorrow, same time, when Jennifer's at lunch. I'll be here, I promise. Emma kissed his forehead and left quickly, clutching her photo album. Richard closed his eyes. His heart rate was dangerously high. That was my daughter, he whispered. My daughter came. After everything I did, she came. She loves you, I said simply. I don't deserve it. Maybe not. But she's giving it to you anyway. Richard was quiet for a moment. Then, Sharon, I need to tell you something. Something about Jennifer. Something I just realized. What? The life insurance policy. The one Jennifer's been so focused on. The beneficiary is supposed to be Emma, not Jennifer. My heart stopped. What? Years ago, when Emma was born, I took out a policy, named her as beneficiary. It was supposed to ensure she'd be taken care of if anything happened to me. Over the years, I added to it, increased the coverage, but I never changed the beneficiary. Jennifer doesn't know that. She thinks she's the beneficiary. That's why she's been so eager to have me sign new papers. She's trying to change the beneficiary without me realizing it. Richard and Sharon, those vitamins Jennifer was giving me? I found the bottles this morning when she went to the bathroom. They're not vitamins. They're herbal supplements. Comfrey, Kava, Pennyroyal. I looked them up on my phone before the battery died. Those are toxic to the liver, I whispered. I know that now. She's been poisoning me. For months. Maybe a year. Destroying my liver slowly so it would look like natural disease. And once I was diagnosed, once the cancer was confirmed, she knew no one would question it. No one would think to look for poison. Richard, if that's true, it's true. I know it's true. And the worst part? I let it happen. I drank those smoothies every single morning because I thought my wife loved me. I thought she was taking care of me. Jennifer's voice echoed from the hallway. She was back from lunch. Don't tell her about Emma, Richard said urgently. Don't tell her anything, promise me. I promise. Jennifer walked in with her perfect smile and her 12 white roses. How's my sweetheart? She asked, arranging the roses in the vase. Tired, Richard said. His acting was surprisingly good. You rest. I'll be right here. She settled into her chair and pulled out her book, and I left the room knowing I'd just witnessed something horrible, something I needed to prove. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Richard's words, about Emma, about the life insurance, about those herbal supplements. At 2 a.m. I got out of bed and did something I'd never done before. I called the police. Not to report Jennifer. I had no proof. But to ask hypothetically what someone would need to prove poisoning in a case like this. The detective I spoke with was patient. Without a toxicology report, without samples of the alleged poison, without proof of intent, there's nothing we can do. And if the victim is already dying of confirmed cancer, even if you found poison, it would be nearly impossible to prove causation. The cancer would be the legal cause of death. So she gets away with it? I'm not saying that. I'm saying you need evidence, concrete evidence, and you need the victim to cooperate, to make a formal statement, to agree to tests. And if he doesn't want to, if he's too scared or too tired or too defeated, then there's nothing anyone can do. I hung up feeling helpless. The next morning, November 16th, I arrived at the hospital early. 7 a.m. I needed to talk to Richard before Jennifer arrived. But when I walked into his room, I found him awake, staring at the ceiling. Sharon, he said when he saw me, I've made a decision. What decision? I'm going to tell Emma the truth. Everything. About Jennifer. About the poison. About what I think happened. She deserves to know. Richard. And I'm going to make a video, on my phone, a deathbed statement, explaining everything, just in case Jennifer tries to fight the insurance payout, just in case Emma needs proof. Is your phone charged? Jennifer brought me a charger yesterday, ironically. I helped him sit up, adjusted his pillows, made sure he looked as alert as possible given his condition. He recorded for 15 minutes. Explained about Emma, about the abandonment, about Jennifer's ultimatum, about the herbal supplements, about the life insurance, about his suspicions. I don't know if I can prove any of this, he said into the camera. But I know it's true. I feel it in what's left of my bones. My wife has been poisoning me, slowly destroying my liver so she could inherit my life insurance policy. But she didn't know about Emma. She didn't know I'd protected my daughter even after I abandoned her. And now I need Emma to know the truth, to fight for what's rightfully hers, to not let Jennifer win. He stopped recording, saved the video, sent it to his email, then deleted it from his phone. In case Jennifer checks, he explained. At 8:45 a.m., Jennifer arrived, early. She walked in with her perfect smile, but something was different. Her eyes were sharp, alert. Good morning, she said to me, too cheerful. You're here early. So are you. I wanted to spend extra time with Richard today. Every moment is precious. She moved to Richard's bedside, kissed his forehead, but her eyes scanned the room, looking for something. Did you sleep well, sweetheart? She asked Richard. As well as can be expected. Anyone visit this morning? Any doctors? Any nurses besides Sharon? No, just Sharon. Good, good. I worry about you when I'm not here. Worry about who might disturb you. She settled into her chair, but she kept watching the door. At noon, she didn't leave for lunch. I brought sandwiches, she announced. Thought we'd eat together today, change things up. Richard and I exchanged glances. Jennifer was breaking her routine. Why? At 12:30, Emma appeared in the doorway. She saw Jennifer and froze. Jennifer saw Emma and stood up slowly. Who are you? Jennifer asked, though her tone suggested she knew exactly who Emma was. I'm Emma, Richard's daughter. The room went silent. Richard doesn't have a daughter, Jennifer said coldly. Yes, he does. And I have the birth certificate to prove it. Jennifer's perfect composure cracked. Get out. No. I said get out. This is a private room, family only. I am family, more family than you'll ever be. Jennifer turned to me. Nurse Sharon, remove this woman. She's disturbing my husband. Actually, I said carefully, hospital policy allows biological children to visit, even if there's family conflict. Jennifer's eyes went hard. Richard, she said, her voice sharp. Tell her to leave. Tell your daughter that you don't want to see her. Richard looked at Jennifer, really looked at her, maybe for the first time in 26 years. No, he said quietly. What? I said no. I want Emma here. I want to see my daughter. Your daughter? She's nothing to you. You gave her up 19 years ago. You chose me. You chose our marriage. You chose our perfect life together. Our perfect life, Richard repeated. The life you poisoned. Jennifer went very still. What did you say? The smoothies, Jennifer. The special vitamins. The comfrey. The kava. The pennyroyal. You've been poisoning me, destroying my liver. And when the cancer showed up, you thought you were home free. Thought no one would question it. Thought you'd inherit the life insurance and finally get the money you gave up when you married me. That's insane. The cancer is killing you, not me. You're delusional. The disease has spread to your brain. Maybe I am delusional. But I've been thinking clearly enough to remember one important detail. What detail? The beneficiary on my life insurance policy. It's not you, Jennifer. It's never been you. Jennifer's face went white. It's Emma, Richard continued. It's always been Emma. Every penny goes to my daughter. The daughter I abandoned but never stopped loving. The daughter I made sure would be taken care of, even when I wasn't there to do it myself. You're lying. Am I? Check the policy. Check the paperwork. You'll see Emma's name, not yours. Jennifer grabbed her purse, started pulling out papers. Her hands were shaking. I could see them. Beneficiary forms, new forms, unsigned. That's what this has all been about, Richard said. You've been trying to get me to sign new beneficiary forms, trying to change Emma's name to yours. But I didn't sign them, did I? You're sick. You're confused. You don't know what you're saying. I know exactly what I'm saying. And I've recorded everything, every word of this confession, every accusation, and I've sent it somewhere safe, somewhere you can't delete it. Jennifer looked at me, at Emma, at Richard, and then she smiled, that perfect smile. You can't prove anything, she said calmly. You're a dying man making wild accusations. No court will believe you. No insurance company will take your word over mine. I've been the devoted wife, the perfect spouse. Everyone has seen me here every single day, taking care of you, loving you, sacrificing for you. You're right, Richard said. I probably can't prove it. The poison's out of my system by now. The cancer will be the official cause of death. You've been very clever. Then why tell me? Why reveal that you know? Because I wanted you to know that I figured it out, that I'm not the fool you thought I was, and because I wanted you to understand that you're going to lose. Emma gets the insurance. Emma gets everything, and you get nothing. 26 years of marriage, and you get nothing. Jennifer's smile disappeared. What replaced it was something ugly, something that had probably been there all along, hidden under the perfect makeup and perfect roses and perfect performance. You bastard, she whispered. I gave up everything for you, my family's money, my father's approval, my whole life. And you leave it all to some child who hasn't spoken to you in 19 years? Some girl who meant so little to you that you abandoned her? Yes, because that child is still my blood, still my daughter. And because I finally understand something, Jennifer, I finally see the truth. What truth? You never loved me. You married me to punish your father, to rebel. And when the novelty wore off, when you realized you'd actually have to live a middle-class life with a mediocre accountant, You started planning your exit, the long game. Poison me slowly. Make it look natural. Collect the insurance. Move on. Jennifer didn't deny it. She just stood there, her mask completely gone. Emma, Richard said, turning to his daughter, I want you to call the police. Tell them everything. Tell them about the supplements. About Jennifer's visits to my office asking about life insurance, about her urgency with the beneficiary forms, about all of it. It won't matter, Jennifer said. I told you. It will matter, I interrupted, because I've been documenting everything, every visit, every conversation, every time you checked your phone when you thought no one was watching, every time Marcus showed up, every inconsistency. I've been keeping detailed notes. Jennifer looked at me with pure hatred. You have no authority. You're just a nurse. I'm a nurse who's been doing this for 40 years, and I know what I've seen, and I'll testify to it. So will Carol from Richard's office. So will Emma. So will anyone else who's witnessed your behavior. Jennifer grabbed her purse and her papers. I'm leaving, she announced, and I'm calling my lawyer. You'll be hearing from him. Good, Richard said. I look forward to it. Jennifer walked to the door, stopped, turned back. I did love you, she said quietly. At first, when we were young. But love doesn't pay bills, Richard. Love doesn't give you the life you deserve. And I deserved more than you could give me. Then you should have left. I did leave, in every way that mattered. I left years ago. You were just too blind to notice. She walked out, and she never came back. The next 3 days were chaos. Jennifer did call a lawyer. The lawyer called the hospital, called the police, threatened lawsuits. But Emma called the police too, filed a formal report, gave them the video Richard had recorded, showed them the supplements Jennifer had been giving Richard. A detective came to interview Richard, took his statement, collected what evidence existed. It wasn't much. The supplements were long gone. The smoothies had stopped once Richard was hospitalized. His liver was too damaged to show anything except cancer. Mr. Morrison, the detective said honestly, I believe you. But proving this in court will be nearly impossible. The best we might be able to do is prevent her from contesting the life insurance beneficiary. That's all I want, Richard said. Emma gets what's hers. That's all I want. On the 4th day, November 20th, Richard's condition took a sharp turn. His kidneys were failing. His heart was weak. He was sleeping more than he was awake. Emma came and sat by his bedside. She held his hand. She told him stories about her childhood, about her mom, about her life. She told him she forgave him. She told him she loved him. On November 21st, at 6:43 p.m., Richard Morrison took his last breath. Emma was holding one hand. I was holding the other. Jennifer wasn't there. The funeral was small. Emma arranged it. Just a few people from Richard's office. Carol came. Marcus didn't. Jennifer didn't attend. 2 weeks after Richard's death, the life insurance company processed the claim. Emma received $750,000. The policy had been accumulating value for 26 years. Jennifer hired a lawyer and contested it, claimed she was the rightful spouse, that Emma had been estranged, that Richard had been mentally incompetent when he'd made the video. The insurance company reviewed everything. The video, my notes, Carol's testimony, the timeline of Jennifer's visits to the office. The beneficiary forms Richard had refused to sign. They ruled in Emma's favor. Jennifer got nothing. The last I heard, Jennifer had moved out of state, found someone new, someone wealthy this time, learning from her mistakes. The police never filed charges, couldn't prove intent, couldn't prove causation. The cancer was the official cause of death. But I know the truth. Richard knew the truth. And Emma knows the truth. 3 months after Richard's death, Emma came back to St. Luke's. She found me during my lunch break in the cafeteria. Nurse Sharon, she said, I wanted to thank you. You don't need to thank me. Yes, I do. You watched out for my father. You protected him when I couldn't. You documented everything so Jennifer couldn't steal from me. You gave my dad space to tell me the truth before he died. I just did my job. You did more than your job. Emma pulled out an envelope, handed it to me. What's this? Open it. Inside was a check. $25,000. Emma, I can't. You can, and you will. My father wanted me to give you something. To thank you. This is what feels right. Emma, please, let me do this. Let me honor my father's last wish. He wanted you to know that you mattered, that your kindness mattered, that your attention and your care and your willingness to see the truth mattered. I looked at the check, at Emma's earnest face. What will you do with the rest? I asked. I'm going to start a foundation, in my mother's name and my father's name, to help children of estranged parents. To fund family reunification therapy, to ensure other kids don't spend 19 years wondering if their father loves them. That's beautiful. It's what they would have wanted, both of them. And Sharon, I'm also going to donate to the hospital, to the oncology unit, in honor of all the nurses like you who see things others miss, who pay attention, who care. She hugged me, and I let her. I've been a nurse for 40 years. I've seen a lot of marriages that looked perfect from the outside. Beautiful houses, expensive cars, designer clothes, perfect smiles. And I've learned something important. Perfect is usually performance. Real love isn't perfect. Real love is messy and complicated, and sometimes it fails. But real love doesn't need to pretend, doesn't need to perform, doesn't need 12 white roses arranged with mathematical precision. Real love shows up. Even after 19 years. Even when it's too late to fix everything. Even when all you can do is hold someone's hand and say, I forgive you. If you're listening to this story and you have someone you've been avoiding, hear me clearly. Don't wait until they're dying to show up. Don't wait until you need to say goodbye, to say the things you should have said years ago. Don't let 19 years pass. Because sometimes, perfect marriages are hiding poison. And sometimes, the people we've lost are the ones worth finding again. Before it's too late. And that oxygen mask I was adjusting when this story began? It's a reminder. That time doesn't wait. That showing up matters. That love, real, imperfect, complicated love, is worth more than any performance could ever be. Emma visits me sometimes, at the hospital. We have coffee. She tells me about the foundation, about the families she's helping reunite, about the children who get to know their parents before it's too late. And every time she visits, she brings something. Not white roses. Those perfect, calculated white roses. She brings wildflowers. Messy, imperfect, real. Just the way love is supposed to be.